Welcome back, painting friends. Today we are going to paint a picture of a dock in a sunset. Colors you're going to need pink, orange, yellow, light blue, white, black, and brown. I always keep my favorite 4 brushes in my studio, my 1-inch flat brush, my 10, 6, and 1 round brush. Don't forget to have a rag and a cup of water. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with my my 1-inch flat brush. And I'm just going to make a line where I want my separation from my sky and my water to be. And I'm going to put this line just below the center of my canvas. Now from there, essentially, I'm going to make these kind of like symmetrical. So if I make like a blob of yellow right here, I'm going to want to keep that blob of yellow about the same on the bottom. So I'm going to just take some yellow and fill this space right here in. And then I'm going to take some of that yellow and just kind of add it out into here. Again, doing that exact same thing on the bottom part. It doesn't have to be like exact, just, exact-ish. Now from there, I'm going to take some white paint and I'm just going to drop some white around this yellow area. And then I'm going to take yellow with a little bit of orange on my brush, and I'm going to drop it right on top of those white spots. And I'm just going to take that orange, and I'm just going to kind of blend it into that yellow area. Even like a long line of it coming up through there. With my with my 1-inch flat brush, all I'm doing is kind of pulling that color out by using small little lines so that it looks a little bit more like some movement in the sky. I'm going to take that brush, I'm going to wipe it off, but I'm not going to wash it off. I'm now going to go in with plain yellow, and I'm going to kind of blend these colors together a little bit better. Remember, I'm not having a whole lot of that orangish color on there, just wiping that brush off, adding some yellow in so that these colors can blend a little bit, but not lose all of that yellow. And I'm just going to take my brush and kind of tap around a little bit of this area. In fact, I might switch to my number 10 round brush for this. Kind of tap around these areas and kind of soften up some of those lines. I don't want to soften up the whole thing. I still want to have quite a bit of that, those lines that kind of jet this way and a little bit more gentle that way, but this will just kind of soften that up a little bit. So just taking my number 10 round brush and just kind of tapping around some of those really harsh lines that I have, kind of soften them up. I'm going to wash that number 10 round brush off, and I'm going to add some blue. I'm going to add some white, but I am going to add blue. I'm going to add a couple of spots of white, maybe 3 up here, and maybe just 2 down this way because I kind of ran out of room down here, which is expected. And I'm going to grab some of my light blue paint and put a small amount of light blue with each of these spots. And then I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of tap those colors in, not touching that orange area, just kind of tapping these colors in where my lightest blue is going to be. Now, if you don't know much about color theory, you should know that if you have a light blue and an orange, you're going to get brown because those are complementary colors and they kind of fight on the canvas. But one way to get from orange to blue is to stick some pink in there, because the pink will turn purple when it hits the blue, but it'll also kind of stay that nice warm color when it hits that orange. So I'm going to add a little bit of pink and white, kind of coming up to those blue areas, just along the orange where it kind of touches up to that blue. So I don't need to go crazy with this pink, but just kind of starting to connect those. If you get too much color on your brush or maybe it starts turning brown, don't worry. Just grab a little bit of water, clean that brush off, and go right back in. Our goal is to kind of blend these colors in a little bit, bring some of that pink into that orange so it doesn't look like there's a big solid line, but that it's more of a free-flowing sky. And then the rest of the area is going to be that dark blue. And again, we're just going to kind of set it where the open spaces are and then just blend it gently so that it all kind of comes connected. And then looking at our sky, you just want to think to yourself, is there anything that bothers you, you want to change up? Like this area right here where the orange and the blue just kind of really hit each other hard. I want to add a little bit more pink in there. So I'm going to add some pink and some white. So the best thing to do at this point is just take a step back, look at your art and think to yourself, okay, is it good? Do I need to edit it? Do I need to blend any areas to make them a little bit more, together, not so aggressive? And then just jump into it and start to add to it and see where you take it. Okay, we are going to let this dry. And we come back, we are going to add in our dock and our trees. With a dry background, I'm now going to take my number 6 round brush and I'm going to grab some watered down black paint. I always like to water my black paint down when I want a skinny little line. I just think it goes on a little bit easier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that initial yellow line all the way across my canvas. And from there, I'm just going to make like a very gentle triangle. Okay, so it's going to go up just a little bit here. And it's going to follow kind of the exact same down that way. Just go ahead and paint that in on both sides. And then I'm going to make 2 angled lines just kind of going in towards each other. And I'm going to make stripes across. Now these stripes across do not have to totally connect. And I'm going to make them out of a mixture of brown and black. So I've got brown and black on my brush. It's okay to see some of the water through. I'm kind of imagining this being like an old dock. You could see sometimes some of the water through the wood slats. I'm going to take a little bit of that brown and black mixture and I'm going to make some posts out at the end of the dock. I'll make another set closer to the front, which these will be a little bit taller because it'll be respectively closer to us. Wipe that brush up a little bit. I'm going to grab a little bit of white paint and I'm just going to add a couple of white lines on here. And my paintbrush is almost not even hitting my canvas. If I get it too dirty, I can just wipe it off and go back in with some more. I want a clean, dry brush. And I want to be able to just pull a couple of little skinny lines, there we go, off of my land mass. Making sure that they're all just a little bit different. I'm going to make one lone tree kind of popping from over here, kind of coming out and up. Little branches adding in. We'll just take a couple little dots and add a couple little spots of color. Not color, I guess I shouldn't say color. A couple little spots of leaves on here. I still see quite a bit of that sky. Wash that brush off really good. I'm going to grab some more white paint and I'm just going to add a couple of lines to my water. And this is kind of one of those things where sometimes my brush hits the canvas and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm fine either way. My brush hits or not, totally okay with that. I just want it to read a little bit like there's some water. I'm going to take a little bit of white paint and up here at the sky, I'm just going to add a couple of spots of white. And watch what I do. I'm just kind of dabbing this white to make a couple of tops of the cloud. Then I'm going to wipe my brush off and wash my brush off. And I'm just going to take a clean brush. I'm just going to kind of smooth this out so it kind of just disappears below it. Watch that again. I'm going to take a little bit of paint. And by the way, anytime your clouds get lower to the horizon line, they're going to get smaller. I'm going to take a little bit of paint. I'm going to make just a couple of little bumps. This cloud's going to be smaller because it's lower. Wipe that brush off. Wash it off. Take a clean brush and just kind of smooth out the bottom of that. All you got to do. And when you're finished, you know what to do. Find a color that's going to show up on your canvas and sign your name. Remember that I never get to see what you're painting at home unless you take a picture of it and you post it to my Facebook page, Painting with a Purpose. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Painting with a Purpose, so you're kept up to date on all of my tutorials. And remember, as always, stay kind, stay creative, and stay safe. Have a great day, friends. Bye now.